known for his role as TC in the 1980s TV series Magnum P.I., has died. He was 83. His daughter said in a Facebook post that he was involved in a car crash days ago and died Sunday morning. NPR's Andrew Limbach has more.
Roger E. Mosey spent all 8 seasons of Magnum P.I. as Theodore T.C. Cowell, helicopter pilot and reality-checking friend to Tom Selleck's Magnum.
TC, I wish you'd get in the spirit of this case. Well, you almost didn't miss it again.
Mosey grew up in Watts, Los Angeles. In 1985, he told Entertainment Tonight that he found the fame the show brought him quite the trip, if a little surreal.
Being from Watts, I tried poverty for the longest, but somehow I adjusted to wealth without even half trying, you know?
Mosey also led the Gordon Parks-directed movie Leadville, but he worked primarily in TV in his later career, including appearing in the Magnum P.I. reboot. Andrew Limbach, NPR News.
And one of the biggest pop stars in the 1970s and early 80s has died. Actress and Grammy Award-winning singer Olivia Newton-John died today at her ranch in Southern California after suffering from breast cancer. In the 1978 movie musical Grease, Newton-John starred as the good girl Sandy, who falls for the bad boy played by John Travolta. Mellow pop songs were her stock in trade. She won 4 Grammys for songs including I Honestly Love You and Let's Get Physical. Olivia Newton-John was 73 years old. I'm Janine Herbst, NPR News.
Sandusky County.
Support for NPR comes from Heather Sturt Haga and Paul G. Haga, supporting African Wildlife Foundation, working to ensure the future of Africa's wildlife and wildlands. Learn more at awf.org and Americans for the Arts at americansforthearts.org.
What's the role of corporations, particularly in the outdoor industry, in conserving natural lands? This is Climate One. I'm Greg Dalton. The outdoor clothing and gear company Patagonia is known for its commitment to sustainability and environmental health, but its prices often make it synonymous with elite access to nature and adventure sports. Founder Yvon Chouinard began as a scrappy rock climber intent on making climbing equipment and high-functioning outdoor clothing. He was a reluctant businessman. Today, the company is one of the leading U.S. outdoor retailers with annual sales more than $1 billion. Rick Ridgway is former vice president of public engagement at Patagonia. He's recognized as one of the world's foremost mountaineers, along with Yvon Chouinard and the North Face co-founder Doug Tompkins. His new memoir, Life Lived Wild, Adventures at the Edge of the Map, chronicles decades of his adventures. Ridgway says for him, the appeal of the great outdoors started at a young age.
One of the earliest influences for me was when I was 14 years old and got a copy of the National Geographic in the mailbox with the article about the first American ascent of Mount Everest. And in it was a picture of Jim Whittaker, the first American to climb Everest, standing on the summit, holding his ice axe up with hurricane winds blowing the American and National Geographic flags tied to the axe handle. And I saw that and it just connected with me. And I said, I want to be that guy.
And early in the book, you relate conversations you had with Nima Norbu, one of your guides on the American Bicentennial Everest expedition. He says that if Sherpas could make the same money some other way, they wouldn't go on these dangerous trips, especially if they could be home with wives and children. He goes on to say that Sherpas think Americans on this expedition are kind of silly. Maybe, quote, maybe you people have too much money and you don't know how to spend it. So how do you think about that in terms of, did you think about privilege back in those days?
I did, and that story is the first chapter of the book. After I saw that article in National Geographic, I tried to teach myself how to climb. That set off the warning buzzer in my mother's maternal instincts, and she sent me to Outward Bound School as a high school graduation present, and I was hooked. So I started going on mountaineering trips, and eventually, even in my mid-20s, that led to an invitation to join the second American attempt on Mount Everest, following the first ascent in the National Geographic article that had inspired me to start. So there I was in my mid-20s on the highest mountain in the world, and I was convinced I was going to make it to the top. You know, I just wanted it so bad. And that was it. I was knocked down and chiseled.
Also say that in mountaineering and in business, it's not about taking risks, but managing risks. Say more about that.
Well, my experience as a mountaineer has taught me a lot of things that I have taken from my high altitude back down to my life at sea level. And part of that life is my business life. With other colleagues in business, mentors, people like Yvonne Cunard and Doug Thompson, who have been my climbing partners. And I worked at Patagonia for 15 years with Yvonne. And one of the key insights was understanding really how to manage risk. You know, you don't want to take the risk on a climb that is going to change. And in business, you don't want to take the risk that are going to possibly jeopardize the health of the business. But I think the biggest lesson working from the mountains back to the way we ran the businesses was what I just told you about the process, about finally learning that it's not about the summit, but it's the footsteps to get there. And you can apply that to business too. And that you can find the real meaning out of the process of running the business instead of some end game of just trying to create wealth for you, and especially if it's just your shareholders instead of your stakeholders.
Yvonne Cunard and Doug Tompkins became your mentors as you became this accidental businessman. They're all skeptical of business and capitalism. You know, why did you continue building a company that was selling consumer goods, and how did you reconcile that with your interest in conservation?
It was a real dilemma. Trying to figure out whether we were part of the problem or part of the solution, because we were making a lot of stuff. And we realized right in the beginning that no matter how hard you work to reduce the impact of the stuff you're making, it still has a really measurable impact. And wrestling with that was the reason we ran that now famous ad back in 2011. What you're wearing right now.
All right, another fucking downpour. Go figure.
Back in the ground. So maybe making consumer goods, making more stuff.
Very, very interesting day.
More good than harm.
So a net positive, and we've heard some companies recently say this, because there's typically companies that say we want to be less bad, and so this is flipping that and going further and saying we want to be net positive social and environmental benefit as a company rather than just minimizing harm. Do you think the company overall achieved that?
Well, it's a work in progress. We're supporting smallholder farmers in India to try to develop the protocols for growing cotton regeneratively so that the cotton will produce healthy soils and suppress the carbon. We're sourcing our wool from ranchers that follow the same regenerative protocols and are also creating soil health. So it's a step-by-step process. And we've got into the food business now, Patagonia too, for the same reason, that it is a enormous potential solution to climate change, possible solution.
Right, a vehicle for good, and yet the irony is
this
that
is interesting.
this jacket campaign increased sales of the jacket.
Yeah, I know. Adweek came out with a little notice after that.
Hello?
Hello, Beth.
Yeah?
I just want to let you know that I'm on the Turnpike.
Where at? What mile marker?
Actually, I just got off at a rest area because I ran into a fucking downpour again, so I'm just kind of sitting here riding it out.
You're in when the truck stops, right?
Yes.
Are you still on the Turnpike system then, if that's where you're at?
Yeah, as I said, I'm on the Turnpike. I just got off at a rest area because it started to pour. And I also needed to change out my memory card, so.
I'm telling you, it's bad.
Yeah,
I
it's
went
like
outside with animals and I walked through 3 inches of water out here.
it's like the third downpour I've ran into this evening.
I know, it's that bad out. I mean, when I went outside to do the animals, I freaking got my feet stomping wet.
Oh,
I
really?
I waded through water.
Wow. Yeah, we're getting it again. God damn it.
What?
I said we're getting it again.
That's what I mean. You're going to fight that all the way home.
Go figure. Oh well. Like I said, I don't have to go to work tomorrow. I don't have to get up crack at dawn. You know.
At least tomorrow, what time you have to get the car back?
She said if I have it back before noon, I won't get charged an extra day. So we'll see. I'm gonna try
you
to
don't
bring
want the extra day.
Yeah, so I'm gonna bring it back at 11. So, yeah, I've got a. This ain't done yet. There's more to come.
What?
Rain, storms. We're gonna be in this we're gonna be in this the rest of the night.
That's what I say. Hopefully you get home at somewhat reasonable hour, because then once you turn the car in, you're going to be busy with a computer and pictures.
Yeah, I'm gonna be busy all day tomorrow with stuff.
With pictures all day.
So I'm just gonna ride it out. Driving this shit after dark is incredibly dangerous. So.
But be careful. But I really don't want the bad phone call.
You'll probably won't get any sleep until I get home.
I probably won't, because I'm worried about that bad frickin'
Yes.
accident, which I don't want.
All right. Well, I'll let you know when I get rolling.
This weather's not good. It's raining very hard here right now again.
You think if it rained hard? You think it rained hard over there? I was in north. What the hell town that was near Euclid, and it was. Oh my God! I've never seen it rain so hard in my life, man.
I didn't hear either. Like I said, I've never waded through water to get to a horse barn.
You said you went through 3 inches of water?
Yes, dude. Our path was 3 inches of water deep.
Gee, I was on the beach today, and a wave came out the rocks and it soaked my shoes.
I did not.
Did you see that video I sent you?
Yeah?
The waves coming up over the rocks?
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, that's what got my shoes all sopping wet. Luckily they dried out, so. No.
Right in the water.
It almost happened right after that. I shot that video. It almost happened.
Oh, that would have been bad.
And the wave came up higher than I was anticipating. Just about knocked me into the water.
What would you have done if that happened?
Yes. Oh, man. And I had the key in the. Well, no, I had the key on me. Oh man, the key would have been ruined.
You would have been buckled in right.
Oh man, that would have been bad.
Yes, it would have been bad.
Yes.
You should get a waterproof thing to put
I
that
need
in.
to get one of those. I really, really do.
If you're going to be playing around.
Alright, well, it's letting up, so I'm going to get rolling.
Huh?
It's letting up, so I'm going to get rolling.
You ain't going to get far, because you're going to get wet right away again.
Probably not.
You know, that's not going to work very well.
No, it won't. But I'll take my chances.
Oh, Chris.
Oh, God. There goes the keys in the water, all ruined.
You really should get one of those waterproof things to put that in, since you don't have to stick it in the dash. You can just put it in that thing and leave it in.
Yes, I know. I need to get a waterproof pouch at some point, or a bag, or whatever.
They have those waterproof bags that is designed to keep that stuff dry. When people use kayaks and stuff,
Yeah.
that's what you need.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Well, before I go on my next trip, if I remember to, I'll order one somewhere or buy
Yeah,
one.
because they're not that expensive.
Yeah.
But it would at least keep that dry, and you can tuck it down inside your case that you wear around your waist, and at least if you did go in the dirt, you didn't ruin that damn $200 case.
Right, holy crap. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What happened?
This thing about ran off the road from a fucking semi.
You did?
Just about ran me off the road, yeah.
Oh, that would have been a good one.
Well, the lane was narrowing up, and I thought the lane was going to end, and it's just they're surrounded by barrier walls because they're doing this fucking construction.
Oh,
Lanes
those
are
are
incredibly
awful.
narrow, so it looked like the lane was going to end because it got so narrow.
I hate those, because it really does hurt you like a cattle.
Yes.
I hate those
Not to
things.
mention all the spray that comes off those damn trucks.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, so I got to keep my distance from them.
Yes, you do. So you don't dump the wagon over.
No, we don't need to dump the wagon over.
Oh, that would be a mess! I'll panic you if this phone call becomes suddenly.
I'll panic if you think this phone call would become suddenly.
Very. Oh, you would not like that at all.
They sprayed me so hard that I hydroplaned over a thin glaze of water and I crashed into the wall.
Oh, what would you say if you sprayed down the wall?
Not been good.
Huh?
Whose fault would that have been? I don't think that would have been my fault. He sprayed me while coming up alongside of me.
No, that would be your fault if you scraped the wall.
It wasn't my fault. I kept reasonable control of the car. I mean, I kept well under the speed limit.
Well, if you scraped the wall, you're at fault.
And if you hydroplane, I guess you're going too fast.
You're going too fast. You're not going to reduce speed for road conditions.
Yes.
That would be awful if you scraped that wall.
That was a humdinger of a downpour.
Oh, shit! What? You pay attention to your driving.
What'd you do?
That's my fucking cereal on the floor.
I heard it go crash.
Yes, you did.
Oh shit.
You pay attention to your driving.
I'm laughing, the next thing I know, crash.
That's what I don't want to hear.
We don't need
That's
that.
why I said you pay attention to your driving.
I am.
And I know what happened that day when you left that out at the bowling alley. Your mom dropped your ball.
Yes.
We don't want to drop your ball by you having an accident because it's in your car.
No.
That would really jiggle
Or,
your ball, wouldn't
God
it?
forbid the car gets struck by lightning.
It won't. They are rubber tires.
Yeah, but it can still hit it. It can still fuck up the electronics.
Yeah, could do that.
The car could completely die if it hit it just right.
Yeah, that would be bad.
That would be awful. I'd be stuck out here all night. But and thankfully that rarely happens, so.
You're luck it happened to you.
I've been having pretty good luck lately, so you know, I'm living in the land of luck. You know, my luck's been holding, you know, so far.
You should stay holding.
Dropped your cereal. I heard it live.
What?
I heard you drop your cereal live.
Yes, you did.
Is that going on YouTube?
What?
Is that going on YouTube?
I probably would have putting that extra film on it.
I had both cameras on while it happened. Oh, it's funny.
No,
Huh?
it didn't see it. It just heard it.
Yeah, it heard it all right. I got an earful of it. Oh man, that made my night.
It comes to the dash or it just go in your ears.
What's that? It's in the dash.
You know, I bet that one's loud then.
Yeah, so here, there's a dash cam, you'll hear it through my head cameras. They have both on right now. Oh man.
What did I say when that happened?
Like, shit! That was funny.
Then I started saying you pay attention to your driving.
Right. You don't need to crash, bang, boom.
You know, I don't want to hear that noise at all.
I'm approaching Route 50. I'm approaching Route 53. I'm approaching Route 53, just so you know where I'm at.
Yeah, I'd be very scared if you wiped out there.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Hmm?
Why are people driving with their four-ways on? It's not even raining.
Is there trouble up ahead?
No.
Sometimes they do that when it's bad out.
But the rain has stopped. It's just a sprinkle right now.
Is there something in the road up there?
There's
from
a
the
couple.
storm?
There's a couple trucks in front of them, but there's no need to have your four-ways on.
Yeah, is there something fucked up there? Because sometimes that cautions you.
No, Beth. There's nothing that's fucked up or anything that's out of the ordinary. Maybe he's having car trouble. Who knows?
I don't know.
That was funny. Oh, you know where you get off at Route 53 near Fremont?
Yeah?
They put a roundabout there.
Hmm.
You know how you crossed over Route 53 and you made a tight right turn to merge onto it?
Yeah?
They put a roundabout there instead now.
Did they?
Yeah, I did not expect them to ever put a roundabout there. So that was kind of interesting. Huh?
Really need one. They need one on my road in 295 really bad.
Yes, they do. I hate that corner. Really bad.
When have you been through that corner?
I've been through there a couple times on my bike, you remember.
Yeah?
That was
That's a
awful.
dangerous corner.
Man, there's nothing to play around with.
No, that one I hate that. I've even asked for a roundabout there.
What'd they say?
The more people keep asking, we'll probably get one.
Hope so.
But that really needs one. Every time you bring it up, you need them in different places.
We know roundabouts seem to be popping up every so often, so hopefully they'll get one there.
I really do. Be a pain in the ass while they're building it, but at least
Oh,
it'll be
here we go
nice.
again. Damn it.
What?
Fucking rain again.
I'm gonna fight it all the way home.
Yeah, probably. It's round 4.
Seems like it happens every time you make that trip.
Yeah, every time I think the rain's over, and it comes to bite me in the ass.
No, I'm saying every time you go to Pittsburgh, you seem to have that problem.
Or no, Shahola, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. They can knows I'm coming.
I fought rain going to Pittsburgh when I used to have to take the airbrake parts over getting certified for our train.
I fought it. Remember that one time we were going on to Columbus for Special Olympics? Ran into that fucking
yeah.
downpour while we were following the bus?
Oh, God.
Oh boy, I'm in it now. Holy shit.
I remember that day. Everybody got sopping wet when we went to the bathroom.
Ah, I can't see in front of me.
Please be careful.
Ah.
You might be needing here for a ways.
Say what?
Is it that bad up there?
Yeah, it's terrible.
You pay attention. What was that noise I just heard?
The rain.
It's bad now.
good. I'm only doing 55.
You should have got your fucking ass home earlier.
Oh, that gave me a start.
So I said, get your butt home, because I knew you were going to fight that all the way today.
I'm working on it, believe me.
You should have left earlier today and that stopped where you did.
Oh, I checked the radar in Ohio and it was clear, so he must have just popped up.
Well, they do, but it's been hot.
It was so bad. I don't think I've ever felt air as humid as it was today. My God.
It was bad.
That was like living in the tropics.
Yes, it was.
That was freaking terrible.
That was an understatement.
I stuck my hand out the window to get a breeze, and you can literally feel the moisture in the air of your hand.
Oh, yeah, it was bad today.
Yeah, that was awful. I never felt air as thick as that in my entire life.
It was very thick today.
Yeah. It was worse on the lakeshore because in Cleveland it's more humid.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it was worse in Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't wreck your car.
Yeah, that gave me a start there. I didn't think I was going to be able to... I thought I was going to go off the fucking road. And here we go again. That's making me nervous.
Yeah, you don't want to hear a crash on the phone.
There's somebody pulled off the road.
It's like you're getting near a tornado.
Don't even talk like that! That's not funny. I pulled up to a McDonald's drive-thru earlier to get some dinner. I could have swore I heard sirens going off and the radio was going off. It turned out it was a flash flood warning. I was like, please please, I don't want to hear anything about a tornado warning. Oh. I thought I heard tornado sirens going off because I heard some sort of type of siren going off. I've been running inside that building like a son of a bitch. Here we go again. Ain't good.
What will you do if you wreck your car?
Beth.
Huh?
Stop it.
What?
I still get a booted by you dropping your spirit on the phone.
I did drop it, didn't I?
That was funny. You know that's going on YouTube.
Well, I said a dirty word, though.
Cat. Well, gets me more experience behind the wheel in the rain, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Especially at night.
It nerves up my fucking nerves every day. Not a half the chance of what you're doing this at all.
You say what?
I'm a nervous chance of you doing this, I think not.
No. Like I said, I'm on vacation, you know, I had extra time, you know, let me enjoy myself.
It's not an enjoyment when you go crashing off the fucking road.
No, we don't need that.
No,
I don't get
not.
to do this very often, so you know what? I took the opportunity and I did it.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be an enjoyment if I hear crash over the phone.
No, we don't need your crash over the phone.
No, that would just really scare the shit out of me if I heard that. It would not be a good time.
I've driven in this weather book many times before, so you know what? Nothing new.
Oh, man.
Like one time we were down on the way to Columbus and it just dumped rain.
Oh, I remember that day.
Yeah, and that's the day I almost ran into the bus.
Yeah, I remember you about hit the bus that day.
I almost ran Marty off the road too. Oh man.
Who told me to ran him off the road?
Oh man, he would have been screaming.
He wouldn't have been happy.
Here we go again. You can probably hear it too.
Let's get a...
I'm alright.
I definitely want you to be alright. I don't want it. Splat!
Not gonna hear splat!
I don't want to hear splat.
I'm alright.
Splat's not what I want to hear.
We're like right on a sheet of water right now. Literally.
That's scary.
Yes, it's got me nerved up right now.
Yeah, because it's not safe. Oh, Chris.
I'm fine. Passing over Route 51 in about 1 mile. You know where I'm at. Huh?
You say, where are you?
Route 51. Exit 81. Elmore, Woodville, Gibsonburg exit. Okay?
What?
Alright.
I didn't hear you. What did
I said
you
I'm
say?
at exit 81.
That's not close enough to hold.
It's getting there. I just entered Ottawa County.
Chris.
Man, woo! Yeah!
What?
I said that was a humdinger, wasn't it?
Yeah. Chris.
What?
Oh, Chris.
Yes, I'll be fine. I'll make it home in one piece.
Sure hope you make it home in one.
Ah, here we go again.
Maybe you'll make it home in one too.
I'll be fine. Come on, trucker, slow down.
Yeah. Slow down with your right. Slow down with your right.
I'm only doing 45. It's that bad.
What?
I'm only doing 45. It's that bad.
Yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do to drive safe for the new road conditions.
Yes. Oh boy, here we go again. We're in a construction zone, so I can use the barrels as guidance.
Now be careful, because they'll move sometimes in the wind.
Yeah, I know. All it takes is just the wind to blow it into your path. Holy shit. Oh, man.
What?
This is not good.
You know, I heard you say, oh, man.
Come on, trucker, slow down.
How come that guy slide into you?
I can't see anything in front of me.
That's not good. Especially if they drop something off and one of them fucking trucks in front of you.
Don't even talk like that.
I never told you about the piano story.
Huh?
I never told you about my piano story.
I need to concentrate, Beth. You can tell me about that later.
Well, I guess it's too bad if you heard it. I hit a piano.
You what?
Hit a piano out in the road.
You what?
Hit a piano out in the road.
Oh no!
How long does somebody play?
Just about hit a fucking construction barrel. Jesus.
What?
I just about hit a creamed a construction barrel.
Was it out in the middle of your lane?
No, I couldn't see the fucking lane lines. Woo!
That could be a start if I heard that, son.
Yeah, go right through the windshield.
Yeah, it would.
And then, you know, crash.
Break the camera, too.
And everything in the car would get wet and ruined.
You might be wet and ruined.
That too. I don't think you want to hear that crash.
Oh, I don't want to hear that at all.
Yeah,
That's a noise I can do without tonight.
entering Sandusky County.
That's a little closer to home.
Yeah. Man.
I feel a lot better when you are home.
Well, that was something else. I don't think I've ever been in. That might top the downpour we had when we went down to Columbus.
They're so good.
Especially since it's after dark.
Well, those bus drivers, they were good at that. They got through that really safely and good.
They were going a little fast. I remember that. 'Cause they were hauling ass on 23. I mean, 55 there, they were doing 65.
Right through that damn rain, too.
Yeah, it's not exactly, you know, what I would do.
Yeah, but those big buses, you know, they hold their own like those trucks are.
Yeah.
You know, they're heavy.
I know.
They're heavier, that helps.
One time I remember we came to a stoplight, He had to swerve to the left in oncoming traffic to avoid hitting the car in front of him.
It was a motorcycle, not a car.
No, that was a car.
There was a motorcycle we dodged too one year.
Oh, really? Wow.
There was 1 year we dodged a motorcycle.
Ooh.
And the guy stopped right in front of us. That was years ago. You know. Oh, Chris.
Not good.
No, that would be a crazy the day we hit that.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't hit it. We almost did it.
Not good.
I remember the truck driver said the same thing I said when I dropped my cereal.
That was funny. I crashed. Ah, shit!
Yeah, it was all over my feet.
Over your what?
My feet. It fell on the floor. Hit me in the feet.
Oh, they said it was over your face.
No, my feet.
Oh, okay. Oh, man. Nasty.
I said I didn't have the milk on it yet.
Man. Whenever I fall below 50 miles an hour, I'm putting my hazards on.
You what?
In Pennsylvania, actually, it's required that if you fall below 50 miles an hour, you have to put your four-ways on.
Yeah, I wouldn't split it bad like that, yeah.
Yeah. Or if you fall below 50, you have to put your hazards on.
Every state handles it a little different.
It doesn't even have to be raining. So, ooh, that was something. And it's all on camera.
What, me crashing my cereal?
That and the humdinger of a downpour I went through.
Yeah. Oh, Chris.
I suppose you want to stay in a line with me until we get home,
Pretty much. I know you're home.
so you know I'm making home.
Yes, and I'm nervous about you out there right now. I really am.
I'm nervous too.
I do like the way I said shit and I dropped the cereal.
That was funny.
Huh? Luckily I didn't have the milk on it yet.
Oh, really?
No, I just had, it was just dry yet. I just put the cereal in the bowl and I dropped it.
Did you say if you had milk in the bowl and you dropped it on your feet?
It's a mess.
You would have been more.
I have done that.
Anyway, I would have heard more cuss words.
Oh, yes, you would have.
You would have said, fuck!
That probably would have came out. That probably would have came out.
Man.
Actually, YouTube is not allowing swear words anymore. You have to blink them out.
Really?
Yes.
What happens if you don't?
YouTube will drop the video like they've done with other stuff.
Are you serious?
Yes, because the kids seeing it.
Man.
That's why I said shit, because I knew you had the camera, so I didn't drop the F-bomb right then.
Yeah. You just said fuck, so what, you know? You said shit, now that's gonna get on YouTube.
Yeah, but it wasn't, at least wasn't the F word.
Are they particular about what cuss words you use?
Huh?
Are they particular about what particular cuss words you use?
Oh, the F one's worse. They try to, they don't like that as much as, they don't like AM, but that seems to be the worst one.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
you know, it's a bad word, you know?
You know.
Not exactly a pleasant word to say.
How loud was that crash in your car when I dropped it?
I heard that, that was loud.
What is it?
Yeah, it came all the way through the speakers. Yeah. Told you it did.
Oh, man.
At least it was dry and not wet, full of milk.
Why is that? Because there was a bigger mess with me now.
Yeah, it would have been.
Because they were going under the fridge. And that would have really annoyed me.
That would have ruined your night.
That would have, because I still did between that.
Yeah.
Because I heard all the noises and I did the pops and everything.
Yeah.
But I heard the scraping as I pulled the refrigerator out.
Coming up on 280 right now.
Huh?
I'm coming up on 280. here we go again.
More rain.
Yeah, another. Well, this was not as bad, but still. Thank God I have experience with driving in the rain. In the very first time I did it, I actually didn't do too bad. No, that, don't even, no, Remember that one time where you guided me home from that bowling alley in Dearborn? We had that snowstorm?
God.
That's that awful.
Yeah.
If I can make it through that at night, I can make it through just about anything.
That would make you, I was on the phone when you were in that one too, remember?
Yes, you were. That about made me nervous.
Yeah, I was nervous too, you know, the greatest light off the road now.
Yeah.
The snow is nothing to mess with when it gets bad like that. You know.
Well, at least with rain, you get more traction than you do in snow, but still. Shit. Here we go again. Damn it.
I hate this one, you know.
I'm nervous right now. I can hardly see the lane lines.
Careful. You better in your lane.
I know. That's what I'm doing.
If you get caught by an oncoming,
I'm alright.
go to the expressway, right?
I just had to have all my concentration on this right now.
Glad I didn't drop my turtle right when you're doing navigation or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
75, 6 miles.
We're getting closer to home.
I'm getting there. Shit. Shit.
Let's go shit again.
Rain and wind.
Boy.
You got wind with it too.
Well, you don't let a tornado, you'll be fine.
Yeah, we don't need a fucking twister.
There's already been a wind shear out in this area.
You say what?
There's already been wind shear in this area, so when you get on the expressway, you better be careful.
Where was there a twister?
Everything else.
Huh?
You might find down power lines when you get off.
Where was there a tornado?
What's a tornado? It was wind shear.
You mean straight line winds?
Yeah,
Where was that at?
Pennsylvania area.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not.
Better have power when I get home.
You might not have.
Check the Edison map for me real quick. See who has power and who doesn't. Could you?
I can't right this minute. I'm in the shower.
God damn it.
All full of soap.
Where you got the phone?
What?
Where you got the phone set? Near the toilet?
I'm in the shower so I don't get it wet.
Okay.
I got it sitting on a bucket out there.
Oh.
I've had many times talking to you.
Not fun
What?
at all.
No, it makes me nervous. That's why
You think you're nervous?
I don't want to hear the crash. I don't want to slide off the road or something.
No.
I don't need wind blowing you off the road somewhere.
No.
You know, we don't need that either. And then when you get off, you have to be really careful because it's being dark. You don't hit tree limbs and stuff like that.
Wait, what'd you say now?
You have to be careful when you get off the expressway, when you get on the two-lane road, because there's broken tree limbs and stuff.
Yeah, no kidding.
Huh?
No kidding.
That's what I mean, because it's dark and you can fit that stuff so easy. It's been pretty rough weather out this way. It really has.
Yeah. Here we go again. Shit. Yeah, my neck is cramping. Ugh.
What do you say?
This is not what I need right now.
Don't get this weather at all.
I said my neck was cramping. That'll make... Huh?
What did you say about your neck?
I said my neck was cramping.
Oh, no, you don't need that.
Well, I've been in the car for 14 hours. 16 hours, going on 17 hours actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'd like to get home tonight.
Yeah. I'll feel
At some
better
point.
I'll feel better once you know you've unloaded that car entirely and all the stuff's in your house.
I've been on the road since 6:45 this morning.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, you did stop and went to the lighthouse and stuff.
Huh?
You did stop and you enjoyed that park and stuff.
Yeah, plus I ate dinner, lunch at Bob Evans, so that was about a half hour. Oh shit.
Right. So that added to the trip.
Yeah. Ah, here we go again. You think you're a nervous wreck right now? How do you think I feel?
Not good.
Negotiating this off-ramp's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's not going to be fun.
I hope you were shitting me when you said there were straight line winds in Sylvania.
What?
I hope you were kidding when you were talking about straight line winds in
Oh,
Sylvania.
there's been big rain winds all through this area. It's been bad out here.
Oh, that's not
And
good.
I walked through a ton of water over, walking out to the barns, and I never had to do that. The whole time this place has been here.
That's not good.
No. We have really gotten the water today.
And I can't see the fucking lane lines.
Not fun. to
Half a
live.
mile. Here's my exit. Thank God.
Well, you be careful when you get off because it could be worse.
No kidding. I'm sure everything will be fine when I get home. Lights will be on, the AC will be nice and cold.
Right.
It'll be fine. Got transponder up and ready. Glad I'm out of that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'll feel better once you get everything safely carried into your house, too.
Yes.
Huh?
Oh, my neck. Come on, what's going on up here? Waiting for change, I think.
What I just hear?
My cameras!
Are you home?
No! I'm at the toll booth.
Oh, you shut it off when you do that?
No, I started a new file. Wanted to make sure the gate was going to come crashing out on me.
That wouldn't be good.
Glad to be out of that. You have no idea. I get a hoot about you dropping your cereal live on the phone.
You got to hear it, Cynthia.
That was funny. That was funny.
I'm glad I didn't make a big mess.
Yeah, me too. That shit ain't fun to clean up at all.
Huh?
That shit is not fun to clean up at all.
Not when you drop milk, no.
I ain't completely out of the woods yet. still in the downpour.
No, you're not out of the woods until you're home and everything's in the house.
Yes. Hey, call me back when I get home so I can concentrate.
Yeah.
Alright.
Para empezar, esta hora escuchamos bailes folclóricos de Venezuela y Paraguay y también este Coco, escrito por el colombiano Enrique Montano. Toca la guitarrista estadounidense.
Keep your foot on the pedal.
by Lester Young in tribute to the legendary jazz DJ Sid Torren. Jumpin' in Symphony Sid. Heard it there by Ray Bryant Trio. Ray at the piano, Sam Jones on bass, and Grady Tiggs on drums. For the recording, all tunes. You're listening to Jazz with Dave Schwan. Here's Ricky Cole.
Final stretch.